All right, y'all. How are you guys doing today? I got a quick little collection update for you. And by quick, I mean a stack of CDs. I want to maybe knock all this out within 4 updates, including this one. And I kind of want to go a little bit more in depth into what it is that I have here. So let's see if I actually can blabber out what I'm thinking properly. But this is a good little mixture of genres, kind of all over the spectrum of what I really like. So let's cut on into it before I start yammering too much. We are listening to Stonehaven with Concerning Old Strife and Man-Banes out of Horror, Pain, Gore, Death Productions. Lonnie over at the Classy Metal channel sent me this maybe a year ago, and I really like it. This album reeks of early Enslaved with a little bit more maybe melodicism and less keyboards. By less keyboards, I mean virtually none. And it's really good. So if you guys haven't heard this, it's a St. Louis, Missouri based band, if I remember correctly. So Lonnie, if you catch this video, I appreciate you, buddy. This is a great record. I've been wanting to send you a package, but your collection is enormous, and I have no idea if I'm going to send you random things you already have, which I prefer not to do in a VCLT package, so I will eventually get to it. Just cuz. So, let's get down and busy here. First thing I got here is something I picked up as like a default, because one of the things that I ordered from 20 Bucks Spin were not available, which would be one of the Obsequii albums, and it ran out, and I picked out something else of the same price, and I've heard a lot of good things about this, and I saw them at Metal Threat. This is World of Sorrows by Dungeon Serpent. This is great. Really good melodic death metal. If that album cover looks familiar, Drowning the Light also used it on something, I believe it was an EP maybe in 2000 and I want to say 17 or 16. I don't particularly remember off the top of my head, but at this point this was a one-man project, and he has since recruited 3 other members, being a person he is involved with on a melodic black metal project called Portial or something like that. But this is a really good, to the point, kind of brutal melodic death metal album. The fact of the brutality mixed in with this mellow death is interesting to me. You know, there's some really brutal guttural low vocals, which usually not my favorite style in a melodic black or death metal style. You know, I like a bit more of a mid and high in a melodic death metal album, but for whatever reason it works really well with this one. And I think it has a whole lot to do with the really crunchy, thick and dense sounding guitars, and I think it's really good mixture. They didn't, not gonna lie to you, they didn't impress me all that much when I saw them live. Like, I didn't go buy the CD right then and there, but after the fact, you know, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, I was kind of distracted because during their set I got a notification on my phone that somebody decided it would be a good time to try to steal my identity, so I had to leave and go hang out in the parking lot on the phone with the bank for a while. So I missed a lot of Dungeon Serpent's set, and I feel like I did them an injustice by that, which I would have preferred that to not happen, as you might imagine. But I would definitely check this record out if you haven't. It's from 2021, out on Nameless Grave Records. Really cool record. Check it out if you're into this kind of brutal mellow death stuff. Yeah, great. So I placed a big order from Boone's Overstock, and I have it kind of spread throughout this stack here and this stack here, and it just kind of gets thrown in with all the other miscellaneous things I've gotten within the past however long. So I'm trying to get through this not fast, but I'm trying to regularly be listening to this stuff as I go through my collection as well, so I don't have to pull things out of the collection, mess up orders and all that. So this is 2 albums by a Ukrainian band I'm pretty fond of called Holy Blood. This is a Christian black metal band. This is from 2005. This is the album Waves Are Dancing. Really cool album cover, kind of cartoony, Celtic Viking longboat looking deal. Not 100% certain what they were going for on that, but I got these 2 for really cheap on Boone's Overstock. So if you're looking for anything by this band, go on there. Besides their debut, they don't have their debut. They might not have some of the other albums, but they definitely have these two. This in particular album is all kinds of Eastern European black metal with tons of folk metal. Tons and tons of atmosphere similar to Crota and Nocturnal Mortem and, you know, things along that nature. Lots of tin whistles and orchestrations and just other folky elements generally. I kind of feel like this band has a lot in common with the mid-era of Graveland, like Stali and stuff like that. It's a really, really good record. It doesn't have those croaky vocals. This is actually not even just like a regular wretch. It's really shrieky, and I think it's cool. It's a really cool record. And the other one from Holy Blood that I have here is Day of Vengeance. This one I wasn't particularly impressed with. This is out on Bombworks, and it's a pretty middle-of-the-road melodic death metal album. It really, really sounds like Discount Bin Amon Amarth, and a lot of people don't like Amon Amarth because they find them boring and generic, which I respect that. I don't agree, but I respect that. They're not the most interesting thing in the world now, but this is their album from 2014, which I would put this at their 5th album, and that other one was their 2nd record. This is, you know, pretty much nothing more than that. It doesn't even have as interesting of melodies as stuff like Amon Amarth and other roary, kind of mid-gallopy, crunchy, melodic death metal albums. But, you know, it's okay. It's worth having in the collection, and I feel like it has potential to grow on me more the more I listen to it, because I do like this style quite a bit more now than I really ever have in my entire life. So, Holy Blood. Alright, next. A good little EP from Norway. This is Svartsen with Ondin's Milik. I don't know, dude. Great. This is a great doom metal album. So, it's listed as blackened doom metal on the Metal Archives, but I don't get a ton of the black metal. I get a little bit of it, but you know what, this kind of mixture of doom and extreme metal together, it's kind of gets lost in translation a little bit, you know. Sometimes it's hard to hear a band like this and differentiate it between the death doom, the melodic death doom, and the black doom. I don't know, I feel like a lot of it has a similar style, you know, like what do you call early Catatonia? Because there's death metal, there's black metal, there's doom, there's some goth. It's a pretty cool multi-spectrum style, and I think that fits really, really well into that. This record, EP, excuse me, in particular, I believe is from 1995. Don't quote me exactly, it's from right around that era. Yeah, recorded in August 95. So, this band, being from Norway in the mid-90s, I would have thought that these guys would have had hands in a million other things just based off of where they're from, what they're into, you know, in that time. There's no connections to Funeral or anything like that. These guys literally did this. They had a band before this, which is the band that turned into this, basically, and then they were done. Nobody in the whole band ever did anything else in the metal genre, at least listed on Metal Archives. So that kind of is out there to me. That's a weird concept, especially when you could write such good kind of Catatonia-ish, doom, black, death, whatever you want to call it, style stuff. So check this out if you guys have not. Next, I picked this guy up off of Amazon. This was a random one that I've been wanting for a while. This is the Grim Chronicles by Grim Reaper, the 3-disc set of their first 3 albums, which are dynamite traditional metal, dude. No way around it. So this is See You in Hell, Fear No Evil, and Rock You to Hell. So See You in Hell I've had on cassette for a long time, and it's just, you know, it's a catchy, melodic, really much more aggressive new wave of British heavy metal album. And Fear No Evil, actually buying this was the first time I'd heard that in its entirety. It's just a good record, man. There's just really nothing crazy I could say too much about these. And Rock You to Hell, I didn't actually wind up finishing the whole album, but it's more of the same. I mean, it's maybe a little poppier, maybe a touch poppier, but you know, I think they were doing a really, really good job with this kind of stuff. And, you know, when it comes to these new wave of British heavy metal albums or random obscure thrash records, I don't mind this format of, you know, being a multi-disc CD set where I could just bring this whole thing and I have all three in the car with me. And it only takes up, you know, 2.5 jewel cases, so I can bring this in a digipack and have room. It's a good little box set. If you guys want all three of these records right at once, go check this out. It's like 25 bucks. Why not? All right, first time ever I think I've talked about a South Korean album. This is the band Sad Legend. This is a melodic black metal band. Incredibly difficult to read on the back there. Red on oxblood is not the greatest way to get your point across, but it also, so it has all the songs written on there, and it also has it written in their native alphabet, of which I don't remember the exact name of. This is a really, really well done melodic black metal album. Like, I don't remember if I said or not, 1998. This is like the heat of the moment, you know, for that style. This is really where that apex of melodic black was going on. Late 90s, 96 to 99, I think. And this fits right smack dab in there. It is riff-o-rama and it is keyboard laden all over the place. And I'm a big, big fan of as much keyboards as I can get in this kind of a style. If you're going to be really blasty and fast, I think the keys mellow it out a little bit. You know, it cuts the edge off and it makes it a nice, well-rounded listen. It's really, really well done. If you guys haven't heard this record, you can definitely hear it on YouTube and probably track down a copy for yourself. Great, great stuff. Here's another score off 20 Buck Spin. This is the 2017 album from Worm, Gloomlord. I Need One More, which is the first one. Something about Invocation of the Black Marsh, I think is what it's called. I haven't even heard it, not gonna lie to you. But I kind of remember when this came out, I saw this band photo and I was like, oh, sick. A 4-piece death metal band. And they all look old school. But I don't think that that is the case at all. It is Aquaman Thorn playing bass and drums, and then Phantom Slaughter doing vocals, guitar, and synth. So the kind of doubled up thing there is really, really cool. I dig the old school look with the white high tops. I know people think that's corny and cliche. I think it's cool. I don't know. It's an old school look, you know. If you're gonna do it, do it. You know, don't go half-heartedly into something like this, because this is old school death doom all day, every day. This is nothing new to anybody at this point. Worm has gotten so much love over the past couple of years, it's not even funny. So actually, I don't think this is from 2017. I thought it originally came out, but this says recorded June in 2018. Metal Archive says 17, so it might be from 2018 or 2019. Either way, I really don't really care. Because it's a while, it's, you know, a couple years ago at this point, so it doesn't matter too much. But this record's great if you like your disembowelments and your death dooms that are just really, really well done. Lots of space, lots of heavy sounds to it. It's great stuff. Next, I got two albums from this same band from Sweden. This is a tribute to Insanity by Hexenhaus. Obviously, same cover as Blessed Are the Sick by Morbid Angel. This was first. This is 1988. Really, really good speedy metal, speedy thrash, little tech bits here and there. This is out of Metal Blade. Looks really, really good. I really enjoyed this album a lot. I listened to it and I was like, oh wow, this is a lot more speed metal than I was expecting. I kind of knew it to be that, but for whatever reason, I always kind of thought this was going to be a little more death metal. Maybe it's the Morbid Angel Association on the cover. But I really like how it looks with the red logo on the top too. With that, I think it's a good look, which again, Morbid Angel did the same thing. It's great kind of techie speed metal stuff. I would kind of put it somewhere between Mekong Delta and Celtic Frost, especially Celtic Frost. It's way techier than Celtic Frost, don't get me wrong, on the caveman riffs and stuff like that. But like the vocal timbre and the way of enunciating vocals, I picked up tons of Tom G. Warrior influence. If you guys are familiar with this record, are you guys hearing that too? If that's the case, let me know in the comments, because I feel like I hear Celtic Frost where there shouldn't be Celtic Frost, and I heard it on here. I don't know. But the riff-wise, it's actually Really, really, really interesting to listen to. It's fun, and it's really all over the place as far as between melody and like pummeling speed goes. It really keeps a good level head in between the two, and it kind of dances in between them as well. Great record. And then their other album from 1990, which is The Edge of Eternity. Great thrash record, but I liked the other one quite a bit more. I think the production on this record in particular fell flat. This one's out on Active Records. Show you the inside. Good little band photo, 1980s to a T. Check out DJ Tanner from Full House as part of the band, apparently. Really, really cool album cover. Kind of looks like the face of, I don't know, maybe face of the Death Star or something. I have no idea if that's what they're going for, because I don't know, they don't look like the nerdy type in that kind of way. They look like a more of a D&D kind of nerd style. But this is a great album. Tech thrash again. This one probably leans a little bit more on that Mekong Delta side as opposed to your primitive toxic. Sorry, I'm reading the song in the back. Toxic Threat. A little bit more of your techie side than the primitive Celtic Frost leanings of maybe the first album. Really, really good stuff. Hexenhaus. All right, next I got 3 albums by another killer Swedish band. This is more stuff from Boone's Overstock. This is 3 albums by the band Leviticus. This is their second album called I Shall Conquer, and it's a really well done pressing. Really, really well done pressing. So here's the inside here. Looks really good, and this who does this? Legends of Gearder Records. They do these really cool trading cards that you get with your CD pressing. I think that's really neat. I don't really particularly need it or anything like that, but I think it's a cool little touch to add onto your, release, to just have something else in there, because some of this stuff gets kind of expensive, and I'm sure having to pay these bands royalties and all that, it gets pricey. So you want to have something a little bit extra on the side with you. This is a 2021 repress, and this kind of rides your in-between hard rock and heavy metal sound from 1984, I believe, originally. And it kind of holds hard to that, but there's a couple moments on here, like the song Day by Day has like a power metal feel. It's like big open chords, kind of drum beat with the big open chords. So definitely an early predecessor to power metal in that style, and a really sick album cover. I mean, that's great. Absolutely love that. Really, really cool. The serpent being destroyed by this dude in some killer armor who has no leg protection whatsoever. Can't be the safest way to battle, but Leviticus. And here's the next one from them. This is The Strongest Power. That's the Swedish cover on there. I'll show you the inside too, because it has the North American cover as well. And I was still really debating on which one I liked more. I think, genuinely speaking, this is a cooler cover, but I like the Swedish cover more because of its vintage, old school kind of Fates Warning, Knight and Brocken look, the sloppy, cartoonish kids painting look. I don't know, I really liked that about it, but this is a really good record. This one I think is probably the best of the 3 Leviticus records. It doesn't have a ton of that, power metal sound to it, but this is a little bit more of a hard driven heavy metal album. It reminds me quite a bit of your Saxon, but it has that obvious Swedishness. I was sitting in the car talking with my wife about Swedish bands, because she's like she's heard some Swedish bands, obviously, so she knows what I'm talking about. There's a noticeable style of singing that this area of the world, particularly Sweden, has when they do clean singing, especially in like a metal-ish context or like a metal adjacent context, or even just rock in general. And this one, it's pretty strong. Heavy Load has like a way of singing that is obvious, and Overdrive not as much, but this one, I hear it's strong. And bands like Graveyard and Witchcraft and those kind of bands, there's like an obvious blue collar Jarl almost to it. I don't really know a good way of explaining it in particular, but I think it's done really, really well in a really interesting, perform on a great traditional metal record. That one's more metal. The first one's hard rock and metal. And then this is Setting Fire to the Earth, also by Leviticus. This is their album from 1987, so they're a little bit further along. And you see on there, they're cleaning themselves up. You know, they're not such street rock and punks these days. I think they're trying to get in on some of that commercial cash, which I have a firm hunch never really happened. But they did a really good job with this album. This one toes the line a little bit more on the AOR side of things, you know, a little cornier. It tastes like Whitesnake a little bit, smells like a little bit, but it still maintains that Swedish Leviticus style. Maybe they're seeing the success of Europe, and we're thinking, hey, let me get on some of that action. Maybe it's not really keyboardy like that though, but it's still got that same level of heavy metal, hard rock cheese to it, and I kind of dig that. This is a great record though. Not as amazing as the other two, but it's a good one. Saved is a really good song. Yeah, great stuff. All right, next, this is a little CDR demo compilation 2-disc deal by the band Mythotin. This is under the banner of Mythotin, disc 1, 1993 to 1994. Looks really good. I love all the photos on here. I really like the aesthetic and the choices of art. Looks really cool. Yeah, let's get a better look there. So this one contains the demo Behold the Shield of Gold from 93 and Meadow of Silence from 1994. So Behold the Shields of Gold is a bit of a rough listen, not gonna lie to you. If you like your raw black metal, your raw old school black metal, you'll probably like that demo, but it's tough to sit through. Like, it's not putting us on in the car listening to that demo. It's got some good melodies you could pick here and there, but you know, you got to turn it up quite a bit to hear it well. And it's, you know, it's a really good demo, but the better part for me is Meadows in Silence. It starts getting a little bit more of their own. They're getting a little bit more epic. They're getting more of the black metal sound with a little bit more of the hey kind of Viking Bathory-ish Vindir style to them. Clean vocals, big male choral vocals, and at the end, so this thing kind of unfolds really well. This whole demo, it works really well. It's kind of goes through, I believe Meadow in Silence might be an instrumental if I remember right. It's kind of hard to remember every single song, especially when it comes to demos. But the one that really stuck out to me was the last track on that demo, Ragnarok. That is feral. So I'm not a huge fan of super blasty fast death metal or black metal, but that track, after like 4 tracks of Viking melodic nerdy black metal and just ending it with Ragnarok, being a super blasty, angry, Swedish sounding black metal song. It's really in your face. It works really well, especially because obviously the concept of Ragnarok in Norse mythology is Armageddon. So I think it fits really well. And then the other one, under the banner of Mythotin Disc 2, this is Nidhogg, something like that. Nidhogg 1995, and then Promo 96. So this is a lot more of your maybe a lot more of your kind of, you know, Viking black metal again. I mean, there's nothing too crazy to go along with that. It kind of sounds a lot like that demo from 94, but maybe a little bit more evolved. Really nice put together demo comp set. I really like having these. I just need to get full lengths from Mythotin. So Mythotin. And the last thing I got for y'all here today is going to be a band from, I'm kind of blanking right now, but I believe it's Switzerland. But this is a band Moribund with Oracular Eyes. This is their one and only album from 1996. Really nice and pressing here, looks good. Black disc. So this is kind of odd European sounding death metal. You know, it's noticeably not American, and it's noticeably not Swedish or Finnish. So where does that leave you, you know? Obviously, Switzerland is a place that doesn't particularly have the most well-known death metal scene, but this album in particular is really, really fun. I was listening to this and I was like, wow, this kind of sounds like the death metal of its day. 1996, Death would have been on Symbolic from 95, and Atheist would have been on Unquestionable Presence, I think, and maybe, Cynic would have already put out Focus. Pestilence would have been on, what album would have Pestilence been on in 1995? I don't remember off the top of my head. Was Spheres out yet? Either way, it kind of fits firmly in that area, but I think really drinks from the well of Death more than anything. That's the main one that I'm picking out. A lot of the riffs, a lot of the kind of riffs. It's really, really cool. If you guys haven't heard this one, check this out. It's on YouTube, and then go track down a copy yourself. So I'm gonna call it that on this update. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little break from being in the midst of my CD collection. So I'll catch y'all on the next one. Keep it greasy.